Dude, I might shit my pants.
That's good wood.
Alright, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Crits, powered by TurboVelo. It's our weekly Tuesday night crit race. A lot of fun. So this is my first time commenting on a video. That'll be interesting. Try not to make fun of my voice too much. It's the only one I got. So anyway, I'm speeding up the first lap of this race, just so you guys can see how boring of a race this was. It was terribly boring, guys. We all sat in pretty much. Anyway, that was my goal. That's for sure. I definitely didn't do any work, but that's kind of what I wanted to do today, was to see how patient I could be and really just try to take shelter, ride smart, and wait for a sprint. I think everybody had the exact same idea, though. It was a slow, pretty boring race. As you can see, the race is fanned out. That's like 90% of this whole race. It's like 30 people wide going 18 miles an hour. It was a very slow race overall, at least for the first half. We ended up averaging probably 25 miles an hour, but for the first half it was very slow. A lot of people just kind of sitting in, I think. I'm pretty sure everybody thought that it was going to come down to a sprint. So no one really wanted to do any work. But we had all the teams represented. There's United up there, and the white, pink, and blue. They have 1,000 people on their team, so usually they're the team to watch out for. They should be, but they lost. Then McKinney-Velo on the right. They are the actual team to look out for right now. They won last week and today. Got Pack and Red, Trinity, Pegasus, then tons of solo dudes, which is always fun. This race, I think the wind was coming out from the northeast. So right here we're kind of going into a cross headwind coming from the left. So it's good to get sheltered onto the right side, and that's what everyone does. But jump forward to some more boring parts to show you how many people wide this race got regularly. Is like a whole field of just Fondo riders is what it looks like. Honestly, I think what happened was everybody thought that a breakaway wouldn't get away because of the headwinds that we had, but lo and behold, that's actually how it unfolded. So everyone was kind of just sitting in, not wanting to take on the wind and see if they could go for a sprint, I suppose. This is a nice little spot that I found that was easy to move up. Somehow on this part coming back to the straight start-finish line, it was a headwind and crosswind, so it was coming from the northeast, and they always left the left side open for some reason, so it was really easy to move up there. So I always try to take advantage coming around that side of the course to move up on that part, and found it nearly open almost every time. There you go, you got United going off the front. I think he's chasing down an attack, actually, or a move. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of guys off the front right now. It's one of the McKinney-Velo riders who went off the front pretty early on. I'm pretty sure he's stuck. There we go, we got Lauren Kuhn waving for the camera. She made it very clear after the race that she likes being on camera and that she's willing to work harder if there's a camera involved. Which I'm pretty sure I'm the same way, so no fault there. Again, this is that same part of the course where it was always left the unsheltered, or the sheltered side was always left open. So easy to move up right there. Get towards the front of the race. This whole race, since everyone was sitting in, it's like a washing machine the entire time. You're just always filtering front to back. That's what it felt like. right here on the left side of the screen. There's my wife and my son, Aaron and Judah. They're pretty awesome. Thanks, babe, for always coming out to support me. Alright, back to racing. Pat going off the front, going for an attack, and then Mr. Marcus Mendoza chasing that down. Looks like the heat is on a little bit. It's nice to have something going. You know, I'm not complaining that other people didn't want to work this race. I did the exact same thing. I had no intention of doing any work this entire race, and anyway, can't fault anybody else, I suppose. Except for United, we can fault them because they have 1,000 people on their team. There's Chris Merle, teammate of mine. Best hair in the peloton, looks like. And it's fun to watch these videos back and just see all the mistakes you make, see all the mistakes everybody else makes. Yeah, it's a good time. Because what you think happened in a race, your memory never serves you correctly, or at least mine doesn't. I always think something happened, and then after I watch the playback, I'm like, oh wow, that did not pan out the way that it was going in my head. Or in this race particularly, I am so far back, like 90% of this entire race. So seeing it play back is actually pretty good. Good to reanalyze it and realize that what you think is happening in the race or shortly after isn't actually the case. This Trinity guy, he was an interesting rider. He was, let this gap open up, and I was kind of deciding, should I try to close that down or just wait? And I think I chose correctly because I just let him pull it back up and didn't have to really do anything. So that was nice. But here we're going into that headwind cross from the left. So it's important to stay on the right side. It looks like everybody just kind of sits up after this and fans out again. Tried to skip out a lot of these boring areas of the race, which that was 90% of the race was boring. So it's hard to choose how to find some interesting content here. But anyway, here's that same Trinity rider. I'm telling him to go because he's just letting gaps open up for some reason. And then right here, he decides to like wave to a friend or something. And he like lets more gaps open up. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta get around you. You don't exist anymore. So I move around him and jump on Lauren's wheel, and she's way more reliable. So anyway, I'd rather be on her wheel than that gentleman's. But yeah, I'm not like Mr. Officer Evans, who will make a 30-minute video of us just having to listen to his voice the whole time. I try to cut it down so you'd only have to listen to a little bit of it. Here, I think I'm just trying to look ahead and see that the field is starting to speed up and kind of get ahead of the roll. I think I did that fairly well. Yeah, so it's moving a little bit. I think people are realizing that a couple of guys off the front have a really significant gap on us. And, you know, we're coming down towards the second half of the race. I think that was 4 laps to go, so people are realizing we gotta get something going here. But unfortunately, people can't organize. People didn't organize very well, and we just sucked. The whole peloton really just sucked this whole race. That's Jack on the right in the Pegasus kit, the sweet white tarmac. Everyone says he's really strong, and I believe it. I've ridden with him a few times. He's very strong, so he's a good wheel to follow. Jacob here, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He says, get on Jack's wheel. He even points. I don't know if you saw that, but he points to him. He says, get on that wheel. And then he just lets the wheel open up. So I yell at him for dropping the wheel, and I decide to go and follow this attack by Jack. And you see coming around the corner, my wheel comes off the ground, and Evans seems to like that. So we've got to play that back and hear him shout. That's fantastic. Thank you, Jacob, for the excited cheer there. That was awesome. So I come in, get this wheel on Jack, and he pretty much immediately flicks me through, which I oblige. Decide to pull at 500 watts. And I look back, we've got a gap still. Look back, and I flick, but Jack says, no, we're done. And Evans didn't even pull through, so that was interesting. And so the peloton's on. That attack didn't go anywhere. I decided to move to the left side of this course, which is the sheltered side, so that when the peloton does come through, I can jump on pretty easily. And immediately there's the counterattack. That's expected. But we'll just let him ride, baby. Yeah, right there, we're like all shocked to hear how big of a gap they have. I think we all think we're racing for fourth, but that wasn't quite the case. The three guys off the front, two of them fell off and they got caught, but the one guy from TurboVelo, he stays off and ends up taking first. Here's the last two laps. They're ringing the bell there. They're calling that a gambler's preem, which is evidently you get to gamble and go for a preem on the second to last lap. In other words, we call that the Bradbury special because he's always a fan of that. Right here, right in front of me, this is Tiburcio. Shout out Tibbs. He's a new guy on our team, and he took third. Not just in this race, but also the A race, which is pretty sweet. So I think we're coming around towards the end of the second to the last lap, and I'm going to jump on his wheel. We're going to try to make our way towards the front of the peloton, or at least get in the top few wheels or so, and get ready for a sprint finish. But I don't know, this race was weird because it sped up and slowed down just so much. Oh look, that dude went off course. There was a lot of that actually. Kind of sketchy. Yeah, that's a good way to actually describe this entire race, is sketchy. Last lap, there's the bell. There's the bell. So I was telling Tib, go, I'm on your wheel, but there's nowhere to go. Everyone's got this blocked off, which is smart by them, except for everyone's slowing down, so there's actually no way to get through this. And right around this corner here coming up, I for sure think we're all going to eat it, because it just gets really sketch. Right here. Ugh. Everyone's fearing for their lives. Alright, and Tiburcio, he makes a great move here. He decides to take the left side, which is actually the unsheltered side, but I'm pretty sure he didn't have a choice on this race. He comes up on my left, like, great, I'll jump on his wheel. Then other teammate, Michel, he jumps on his wheel, so I'm like, okay, even better, we'll have a 3-guy lead out here. Kind of get boxed, lose that for a second, but jump right back on. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Tiburcio kind of snuck around. Somehow he got around those riders ahead and was able to get to the front, or at least towards the front. Which that's where we needed to be like a long time ago, because we are totally boxed in right here. Michel loses his wheel, and we don't have anywhere to go. Like, we can't get to the front. Starts to speed up, and there's some sketchy lines here, as always. Michel loses his wheel, and that's pretty much race over. I didn't realize this in the race, but watching this back, I realized, like, look, I'm like 30 wheels back I don't know, 25 wheels back. There's no way you can make that ground up in one more corner to go. So I just kind of send it kind of a mediocre sprint. Try to make myself feel better about not doing anything for the entire race. And pass a few people. I don't know, passed a fair amount of people. I ended up 10th in this race, I think. And I don't know, I was like 30 wheels back, so I made up a fair amount of ground, but just a little bit too late. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.